2, 1, action.
Blast off.
Gotta get the right button, man. There we go.
Okie dokie.
We're gonna get right into it.
I think we should.
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go. That's a CrossFit euphemism.
It is. I wonder if people
3,
get
2,
it.
1, go.
It's old stuff.
Stuff, yeah. You're off of Facebook.
I'm off the book of faces.
Yeah.
Well, just for this month.
Yeah,
Somebody freaking out. Yeah, I'm off all social media for January.
There's
It feels so good.
Yeah, there's some we'll have to talk about later, some funny old Facebook CrossFit and Pavita stuff that I read in the last couple of days.
Every year
actually.
this comes up.
Yeah.
This is like, we opened it like October,
January,
November, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But, you know.
The opening
main
was
event
January.
was January.
Yeah. Actually, one of the guys put up, do you remember when, I don't know if it was the first CrossFit Open, I think it was 2012, 7 minutes of burpees was the first, remember that? The first open WOD?
Miserable.
Oh my God, it was miserable. Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
No more burpees. Okay. Weekly update show, 24 January 2021. So, I don't know who Charmaine J is, but I thought it was a pretty appropriate quote for the week. January, the first month of the year, a perfect time to start all over again, changing energies and deserting old moods, new beginnings, new attitudes. Definitely don't want to get political on the show.
No, we don't do that.
No, but it's a huge new beginning.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to it later in the.
It's not political to discuss the obvious.
Right.
To say, hey, we got changes.
Sure. I mean, changes and it's not just political, right?
Changes. Songs, man.
You don't want to sing for us? No, okay, good.
They don't want to sing.
Yeah, so we have the inauguration and we got a new president, but I think even bigger was people's anticipation of 2021 with 2020 being so bad.
Right.
And, we'll see. The date on the calendar doesn't really mean anything other than our anticipation of what's going to happen next. So
I'm looking forward to this year.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to last year, even though it sucked. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. It's much better come from than not looking forward to it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm an optimist, man. I wake up and I'm like, I'm still alive. Great. Let's do something.
Yep. I totally agree. So, yeah, it's a good time to look at your trading education, your how you see the market. Are you biased in one way or another? Just a way to a good time to reevaluate it and say, okay, what do I want to kind of refocus on maybe and learn for the coming year.
I mean, that's a standard financial planning thing anyway, right? Every year, some point during the year, why not January? Just take a look at your portfolio. Take a look at your plan, right? Take a look at your life plan, not just your financial plan. Yep. Take a look at everything, because what might have changed last year? What might be what changes might be coming next year? So it's always good to look.
Yeah. No, it's good. And then definitely join a gym, which you won't be. You'll be hitting it 5 days a week in January, and then by July you'll forget you had the membership.
I decided to not do it in January and start in like March, and that way I'll stick with it. Yeah. We got a gym like right down the hall. We got no excuses.
I don't even know where that gym is down the hall.
You've been in it more than I have.
Okay. So this week on the market, it was another up week. C fund was up 1.94%. S fund up 1.8%. I fund up just over 1%. F fund was basically flat. Actually, it was exactly flat. It had the same close this week as it closed last week. So we're going to go through the charts. It wasn't a very exciting week. So I'm going to go through the 6-month daily charts, and then we're going to get into there was a series of really good Facebook posts that we got in our Facebook group this week. And I screenshotted them and put them up on the slides, and we're going to go through 4 or 5 of them and talk about some of the member comments and kind of give our take on what the post was about. And at the end, Conan's going to fill us in on a new feature that we have. It's going to be support.growmytsp.com. Okay. C Fund 6 months daily. So when I say it wasn't really that interesting of a week, We've been riding the 10-day moving average line for, since the middle of November. And yeah, we've had some dips down, but you can see the reversals happen, right? Every time it hits that 10-day, it reverses back up. I mean, there's no doubt we got some really good support of the 10-day moving average. The indicators are basically flat. RSI is flat here. The MACD is kind of not moving too far in one direction or the other. And like we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, they're momentum indicators. So when the momentum is flat and the price is rising, there's no reason to do anything until the price changes and the momentum changes. There's no reason to even consider changing a reallocation. And fortunately for us, pretty much all three stock funds look almost the same. So the C fund was good. We got some pretty good positive volume there, and we're riding the 10-day moving average. S fund, same kind of thing, right? Not as many tests that drop below the 10-day, but you got plenty of support on different days at the 10-day moving average. And we also had it on Friday, and had it on Friday, and then it reversed for a big up day. Indicators again, flat but positive, flat. There's just no reason, while the price is going higher and the indicators are flat, to make any reallocations right now. The I fund is a little bit kind of makes me raise an eyebrow, only because the MACD went negative right here. And so the trend right now in the MACD is down while the price is up. So there's a divergence there, right? The indicator is going down here while the price is going up. But every other time you see the price goes down, RSI goes down, MACD goes down, it usually goes together. So when there's a divergence, which means this one goes down while this one's going up, it's noticeable. So it's on the radar, but until price really drops below that 10-day moving average, again, no reason to reallocate. This is actually going to be a pretty short show now that I think about it. Do you any thoughts about those charts?
No, but you say that, but then we'll start talking about all the other stuff. We'll get past it. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a boring week in the market every once in a while. Come on.
Yeah. No, it doesn't happen very often. I mean, the I fund here, it's consolidating there, right? Which is good to look at and good to know. Chances are the next move is up because it's consolidating and is likely to break up off that 10-day moving average. So, yeah, there's just not that much to talk about. Okay. So let's go into what we saw this week on the Facebook group. So for anybody who's watching that doesn't understand what we're trying to do here, it's an educational, we're trying to educate people about technical analysis and how it applies to their thrift savings plan, right?
Right.
So when the group, we got whatever, thousands of 7,000, 8,000 people, whatever, in the Facebook group at this point, which is great. And inevitably,
not all necessary members of the site, which we always kind of have to remind people that are in the group, because they get a little confused about being a member. Might be a member of the Facebook group, but then obviously we have like paid members of the site, which get more analysis and more kind of inside, reporting from your newsletter each week. And sometimes it's a little confusing to people. They're like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Well, because you're not a member and you don't get the newsletter. Yeah, definitely.
If you're in the Facebook group, go to the site.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it still boggles my mind sometimes, and I know it's our service, so we're biased, but that newsletter would cost you $500 a week.
Yeah,
if you were buying it anywhere else, and it's $20 a month.
Right.
It would, or $200 a year.
Part of it is you're right. People don't know that it's there.
They don't know the value. until you realize the value.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Until you
Until you see
realize how much prep work and all the work that goes into that analysis, and you can use that without having to do all that work yourself.
Right.
I certainly don't want to watch the market all week like you do.
Yeah.
I just take peeks at it.
I can't not do it.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's just
we're happy that you're that way.
Yeah. So okay, we're going to go through a handful of posts that
riding the S and C train.
Yeah. I mean, this is good. So I took all the names out. Hopefully.
Yeah. Protect the innocent.
Protect the innocent. I've been riding the CNS train for about the last 3 years. No moves. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you guys, but the gist of it is, I've been in the CNS the whole time for the last 3 years. I'm concerned about the new administration and what's going to happen going forward, and so my spidey senses are telling me to, jump ship and go to the G fund.
Yeah,
that's the gist of it.
I'm going to try to put in the comments, if I can remember, which episode you did where you laid out all the presidents. It was like last December.
Yeah.
Yeah, you laid out like over the years what the market did in any given presidency and modern presidents. Right.
Since Reagan,
Reagan, and the market doesn't care.
No, it doesn't care.
Who's the president?
No.
It cares about a lot of things, but it's not just that thing, right?
That actually is the thing. And that's when we're going to get to all this. People want to attribute what happens in the market to something, and if you can't, you will attribute it to something, unless you forcibly don't allow yourself to try to attribute it to something and just let the price do what it does and observe what the price does, right? Because if you let yourself say, I think we're going to get everybody's getting a stimulus check, right? We got $600 last month. We're going to get $1,400 more next month. And so therefore the market's going to go up. It might go up over that time, and the stimulus might be a part of it, but there's so many more things that come into play. And if it doesn't go up because of the stimulus, it just means that the other things that happened overshadowed the stimulus. So if you get stuck on one, butterfly flapping its wings, essentially,
right,
you miss the dolphin swimming in the ocean. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to for me, I just look at the price, because all of it is wrapped into what the price does on any given day. So, he says, I'm no pro, nor am I a Wall Street guy with inside knowledge, but my spidey senses are telling me to jump from the sinking vessel and get into a rescue boat G fund before I find myself climbing onto a floor, floating in frigid waters with Rose.
I just want to point out, I like this post.
That's great.
That's very good prose.
Yes,
right?
It is. It is excellent.
It's so, and also, if you're the person that we don't even know who wrote this, like we didn't pay attention to names. If this is your post, don't take any offense, because you're expressing. This is what we've found in the few years that we've been doing this, is that when we see comments on the site or on social media, you're speaking for a large group, right?
Absolutely.
When you the person posts, right? There's 50 other people that are thinking like you, but won't post.
Absolutely.
So it's okay. The only thing we're going to do is kind of give you our perspective on that comment, right?
Just like anybody else would if they commented on your post, right?
Right.
So I think I commented on this post, but I don't remember what I put. But again, whoever posted this is saying the CNS funds have done really well over the past several years, and now there's a lot of change, a lot of things happening, and I feel like / my spidey senses are telling me to go to the G fund. Right? You can validate that all over the internet with really smart people that are saying, you call them bears, right? Their position is that the market is going to roll over. Like any minute now, the market's going to roll over. I try really hard not to say what my opinion is, because I have plenty of them, right? But I don't want to, whether it's on the show or on the Facebook group or whatever, I don't want to say what my opinion is. I want to comment on what the price did, right? Because that's what I'm really trying to get across here is
the facts versus opinions.
Yeah, what happened? I want to operate from what happened, not on what I think is going to happen.
Yep.
And I have opinions about what I think is going to happen.
That's a huge difference.
It's huge, and it's taken me years to be able to stifle my personal opinion and only look at the chart and the price and respond to what the price does. So again, whoever did this post, you might be 100% right. The market might tank tomorrow, and if it does, look in your inbox because you'll get an alert.
Yeah, right.
If it doesn't tank tomorrow, we'll still be in the stock funds and we'll be making money.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. Because I don't want to be floating in the frigid waters with Rose.
No, is that a Titanic reference? I think so.
I think so. Yeah, Rose.
It just got to me.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah, there were a whole bunch of comments on all of these posts, which is why I put them up here. And
we just had a hard time trying to figure out how to put the comments versus the post.
Yeah, it's just.
We'll get better at this. We're actually going to do this a little more often because, just to be completely transparent, we don't have enough time to comment on every post.
Right.
Like Jerry would just sit in front of his computer all day.
Right.
And that just, there's, only doing that. And we try, but it's, but anyway, the takeaway is that we're going to try to pick some of these that are trending, if you will. Yeah. There's quite a few people that are talking about this subject. We're going to bring on the post, and actually, what would really be cool once we get this figured out, we're going to try to bring in callers, if you will, like
right.
Bring in a person, whether it's audio or video, and just be like, hey, and say their question, right?
Yeah.
So
that's going to be good.
That'd be
I'm
fun.
looking forward to that.
Yeah. So what about this one?
Okay. Thanks for adding me to the group. So obviously a new member to the group.
Mm-hmm.
And a new member to finance in general. I allocated my TSP simply on the advice of a coworker. That is what really turned the light bulb on for me and why I put this on the slide.
But I got to say, I have been taking the advice of my coworker for 20 years or 10 plus years.
True. That is true.
And it's been okay. I mean Jerry, by the way, folks. If you didn't get the nuance of that,
yeah.
Jerry is my coworker.
Yeah. So most people that's what happens, right? You listen. I mean, we call it water cooler talk or whatever. And you talk to your friends, and
you might want to ask your buddy what their background is before you start listening to them.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
That's the hardest thing for me, honestly, when people ask me what should I do, and these are my circumstances. What should I do? And it really makes my little brain explode because it's all patterns within patterns, which is what we talked about last week. And so when you say what should I do, I can answer that question for today, right, on a daily chart, and I can answer it for this month, let's say, or 3 months on a weekly chart. But I know what they're asking me is, hey, I want you to tell me what fund I should be in, and then I don't have to look at it anymore.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way.
It's not happening.
So if you're new to the group, which is the point of this, and I allocated, my TSP simply on the advice of a coworker, 50% L 2030, 50% S. Looking forward to learning a lot here. Okay. There's so much we could talk about this, but let's just talk about real quick the L funds and the reason for them. Okay, if you're going to do the L fund, the way it works is you pick the year in which you expect to retire and or withdraw the money from TSP. Okay, right. And you have to buy into the concept of the L funds, which is when you're young or starting your career, you have more time to make up for when the market goes up and down. So you want to be, quote unquote, more risky early in your career, and every quarter the fund reallocates so that as you get later in your career, you're moving from more allocations in the stock funds,
more risk to less
risk. Yeah. So
in theory, that sounds good.
Yeah. That's a different thing. I think we did an L
Oh,
fund.
we got a whole show on the
We did
L
a show on
funds.
the L fund.
you
Yeah. So I
guys
don't
go
want to
back
get
and
into
watch that.
I don't want to get into the L fund thing, except to this slide. If you're going to do an L fund, you have to be all in. L funds are made up of the C, S, I, F, and G.
Right. You wouldn't want to be 50% L30 and 50% S because the S is in the L30.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
and I'm
defeating
dropping
the
off
purpose.
the 20 if you guys realize. Like I'm not going to say 20, 30, 20, 40. It's
Yeah,
L40,
yeah.
L30.
Yeah.
But the takeaway, and this is what kind of helped me with the L funds when I first started kind of following your process and your methodology was, at the end of the day, everyone has to realize that whatever combination of allocations you have, CS and I and F, G, right? Whatever your percentages across the board, no matter what they are, that is your TSP portfolio.
Yes.
Right? Well, that's a term we don't use much in, or the TSP, like TSP.gov, they don't use that term very much, which I think is confusing to people. They should use it because you make your portfolio within the TSP.
Yeah.
The only difference between the L funds and what we do here at Grow My TSP is the L funds are on an automated, right, move from risky to non-risky, right? And risky is in air quotes.
Yes,
because
it should be in huge air quotes.
Huge air quotes, because the market doesn't care what L30 is doing. Right? They don't care what those it doesn't care what those allocations are. So the point is regardless of what the market is doing, that algorithm, the L30, the L40, the L50, whichever one you picked, and just so you guys know, like the number that's the farthest out right now, I think it's L60. The fives in the middle they just came up with, so they don't have a lot of data. But if you go and look on the site, L60, L50, L40, you'll see that they start at certain times. Well, that's because the shift happens where I might retire in 2060. So anyway, the point is, those are will be in general the higher producers because they are in the stock funds, not because they're in the right stock funds, just because they are at all. If you are looking at L30 right now, let's say you're going to retire in 50 or 60, right? L2050 or 2060. 30 is not going to be it's going to be more allocated in G than in CS and I and F, right? And the takeaway from that is that you may be losing opportunities that the stock funds are doing really well because you're in 30 or 25 or whatever. But anyway, the portfolio that we have changes based on the market, not on what date I'm retiring.
Right. So that's the
key.
That sentence right there is the whole point of this project that we've done.
Yeah.
Right. The L funds automate based on the idea that your risk, air quotes again, your risk is dependent on your age. We would proffer that the risk is market risk. It's not market risk is if the market is overvalued and rolls over, like in 2000 and 2007, and what will happen again eventually, maybe 2021, who knows? When the market rolls over, when the market is high on a relative basis, the risk is high. It doesn't matter how old you are. The market is risky, not you. So the way the L funds, and it's not just government, they call them model portfolios, in whether it's Schwab or Fidelity, whatever financial contractor your company uses to do a 401k, you have a model portfolio, and it's the same kind of idea as the L fund. The beauty of it is, if you buy into it, you just put all your allocations into it, and you don't ever look at it. And if you don't want to be actively managing your accounts, the L fund is not a bad.
It's better than putting
option.
it in G and just never moving it.
Yeah, much better.
Which we know people do, particularly in the military.
Yeah.
Right. Now that the blended retirement system is happening, where when you and I were in the military, we didn't care as much about the TSP. It was
there was none when I was there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I came in, it just kind of started. Anyway, the point is like now it's vital that just like a federal civilian, you have to count on the TSP to be a big part of your retirement. And when the military system is a little different, where they get, I think it's 3% for the first 2 years and 5% after.
Yeah.
The point is they're automatically enrolled, right? Where do you think it goes?
Does it go to the G?
I'm pretty confident. Somebody may correct us, but I'm pretty confident that it goes straight to G, because that's the safest place to start.
Yeah.
And then if you don't know any better, you might be 3-4 years in and go, oh, hey, this TSP thing's important. Where's my money been? And the market's been cranking for 3 years, and you've just been sitting in G.
We see that in Facebook a lot, right?
All the time.
Because it was only maybe 2 years ago where the government's, the federal government moved, because when you used to onboard to the government, they put you in the G fund. And if you didn't change it, you were in the G fund.
You were there
didn't
for 20
know
years.
Yeah.
You don't know any better.
Yeah.
I was in there until I met you.
I think now they put you in an L fund. I think,
Yeah,
which
they
is
do.
Which is good. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe they do that in the military, and I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I mean, obviously being in the L fund is a whole lot better than
Way
being
better
in
than
the G
just
fund.
being in G.
Yeah. And so actually, I think we if people had seen the ads that we've been putting out about TSP millionaires, right? There's one of those ads that somebody says, "Hey, is this?" We say that you grow your TSP. These guys are TSP millionaires because they actively manage their TSP account, right?
Right.
So if you move from the G fund because they put you there at first, and you reallocate, it doesn't have to be based on the market, but if you know enough to reallocate to the stock funds, you are actively managing your account. So it's not that it has to be actively managed in terms of day-to-day looking at the market and trying to decide, on any given day, but you are actively managing you're having an active role in your TSP. If you're not going to wake up one day and be a TSP millionaire for no reason, put it that way. you are taking an active role in that happening.
Regardless of how active, right?
Right.
We talked about that, about
Right.
this all came from like a article in Federal News Network.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we'll give them a little plug because we're looking at advertising with them because it reaches our folks. But anyway, there's not a lot, but there's a few articles that come through on TSP. And sometimes, it's just like it magically happened. Yeah. Right? You just magically became a millionaire.
Yeah, no.
No. You had to, at some point, actively, whether it was, very little active,
Sure. I mean, you can do
very little action.
Yeah. I mean, they call it a buy and hold, right?
Right.
You can buy and hold in this. If you came on in 2003, let's say, right? Which is a bottom, a major bottom.
Right. That's a little bit after, a couple years after I switched from military to federal civilian.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at a long-term chart, depending on when you came on and or when you wanted to retire, if you look at a chart, you can be either really lucky or really unlucky.
Right.
So it's kind
especially if you don't know any better. It's definitely luck.
Right. I mean, if you came on in 95, let's say, the move from 95, and you wouldn't have known any better. You came on in 95 and you just put your money in the S&P 500 because that's the standard, most broadest U.S. index, and you left it there. By 2000, you were up, I don't know, 400%.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but if you came in on 2000,
totally different.
Yeah, by 2003, you had lost half of everything you put in. It's you have to know you have to know your left and right limits and where you are in the big picture of the thing.
Yeah, and I think the takeaway is, right, just kind of circle back to the Facebook comments.
Yeah.
The takeaway here is, and again, we're kind of like bouncing back and forth for those that are watching the show. We're talking about this Facebook group versus people who are actually members. So when we say members of the group, but anyway, we've got 7,000 or 8,000, close to 8,000 people in the group. Not everybody's active in there, obviously, but we see this time and time again where folks it's kind of clicking for them that they should be doing something more. They should be a little bit more active in managing this, right? And let me tell you, if you got a spouse that's not military or a federal civilian, and they have a 401k, they need to be doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
This is exactly the same. If you have any investments and you just put your money in there and don't look at it, it's not a good thing.
No,
right?
you know who's making money in that scenario?
Yeah, the financial planner.
Yep, the planner.
And we know that.
Yep.
Because we're doing everything we can to be a disruptor in that industry and be getting people to actively do it. If anything, using a financial planner or an analyst to validate your decisions, right?
Yep.
So back to the comments.
Yeah.
What do we...
Yeah. So the bottom line here is, if you're going to do the L fund, do the L fund.
Yeah, be all in.
Be all in.
Yeah, don't be a little bit of some other things. Or well, this is so. What I've seen people do is actually be partially in one L fund and partially in another.
I know.
Which actually, if you chose one that's riskier, right, and one that's not risky, okay, maybe you could validate that. Maybe you could say, oh, this is a good. No, but it's really not.
No, what it shows is you don't understand what the L funds are about,
and you're kind of fighting the system that's built.
Yeah.
You know, and it's better to either put it all in the L fund or actively manage it yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway.
Okay.
What's up next, boss?
This is a good one. I wish I could have screenshot this whole thing.
Is that a bear?
It is a bear. You can barely see it. It's definitely not a bull. It's a bear. Barely see it.
See what you did there.
Yeah. So, the 5 times in history, the price to earnings ratio, PE ratio, was above 30, the market dropped at least 30%. True. Absolutely true. Gas prices are up about 50 cents a gallon also. Okay. That was the comment from the guy that forwarded the meme or the post or whatever. So the Shiller PE. So Case-Shiller is a great index. You guys can Google it. I'm not going to get into it. But Case-Shiller is, they do a lot of work, and it's really good. Shiller PE ratio based on the average inflation-adjusted earnings from the previous 10 years over 150 years of history. So over 150 years, you would think that, it's important and you should pay attention to it, and absolutely you should. Shiller PE ratio for the S&P 500 has a mean of 16.8 and a mean of 15.8 right now.
Median.
Yep, median. So the Shiller S&P ratio for the S&P is 34.5, more than double its historic average. So what the implication is there is that we are way overvalued. Mm-hmm. Okay, that may be true. It is true. I'm gonna stipulate that the meme, or it's not a meme. What do you call this?
I don't know. I can't see it. I just see the tip of the nose of a bear.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay.
Yeah. Are there words on the picture?
Not on the picture, but above it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a meme, I guess.
So
we're really showing our age here.
I am
we're
horrible
discussing.
at this stuff.
Are we? Is that a meme?
Yeah.
I don't know. Looks like a meme.
The point of this is, it's trying to say that the market is overvalued.
Right.
And depending on the indicators that you look at,
it could be.
It is absolutely overvalued. It doesn't mean that it's going to roll over tomorrow.
Right.
It depends hopefully our friend here in a minute, I hope, JC, JC Parrott, because he's one of our kind of guys that we follow.
Yeah.
He looks at different indicators, right? He's not looking at Case-Shiller necessarily on a broad basis. He's looking at charts and breadth and what's moving in the market and the underlying momentum, and coming up with a different conclusion than what the implication of this slide is, right? His thing is that everything is moving higher. And when everything moves higher, everything moves higher. It's a stupid thing to say, but he doesn't, I don't think he phrases it the same way we are, because we couldn't be more clear. We're saying when the price is moving higher, be in it. Right. When it moves down, you'll know it, because we'll talk about it and you'll see it. But until it rolls over, it's moving in the same direction. And so all the data that says the rollover is imminent.
Sky's falling.
Sky's falling.
Yeah.
Today, tomorrow, next week, next month, sky's falling.
Yeah. And what we should say is the sky will fall.
And it will fall.
We just don't know when.
We don't know when. When it falls,
We'll
we'll get there at the beginning of the fall.
Right. And we'll be out.
And we'll be out.
Yeah. I think that's as simplistic as that may sound, that it is true when someone tells you the sky will fall, right?
Yeah.
Because that's really, this is like a Chicken Little reference, right? When we're looking at this, the price to earnings ratio, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm wrong a lot more than I'm right when it comes to this stuff, because this is one indicator.
Yes.
Right? One.
Yeah.
And it's a very valuable one.
Absolutely.
So we're not poo-pooing it.
No.
And we would generally agree that it's correct.
It is correct. It's just math. It is correct.
We just don't know when. Yes, it's overvalued, but that's giving the indicator that there's a top coming.
Right. So
and we just talked about it before the show, right? We were looking at, someone posted an Elliott wave.
Yeah. It's
right?
a great chart.
And it shows exactly what we know, that you've done the same chart, just simpler, where you show that it's coming. The five is coming.
5 is coming. So Trev put out that chart, and he messaged us, and it's a great chart. I'm glad he shared it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it maybe next week, or we'll put it up during the week on Facebook or whatever. But
being able to tell exactly how far that 4 to 5, right, that leg is going to be.
Yeah.
Is it all of 21? Does it happen in June?
Right.
Like now you're crystal balling it.
Right.
You don't know.
It's great to have all the data in the crystal ball, but don't execute a reallocation decision based on the crystal ball. Wait until it happens.
Yeah. I think most people they're just uncomfortable with looking in the rearview mirror, right? They want to be able to see what's coming, right? They want to be able to anticipate what's happening and make the decision before it happens. Yeah. And if you can do that on an ongoing basis, if you're listening to this, call me. Let's be friends, because you're Nostradamus or something, right? It just doesn't happen. And we were talking about Peter Lynch, right? Mm-hmm. That guy is the guy that's he's the one that figured it out time and time again, and he still doesn't try to crystal ball. Right? He's still doing it off of, well, this is what just happened. This validated it. Now I'm making a decision, and that's what we do right here. Is we're always validating our moves based on fact, right? Not forecasting.
Right. The ability to forecast is 90%, right? It's a great, it just means that you've been educated. It just means that you know enough of the background to be able to forecast what is likely to happen going forward.
Right.
If you take that forecast and you make it personal, and you say, this is what's going to happen going forward, you have just screwed yourself. You've
just gone too far. And it's funny because you say that, because like I'll make forecasts in my little head, my young little investing brain, right? And then I'll hear you forecast, right? We'll talk about what may be coming, and I'll go, well, I kind of got that one wrong, right? Because I didn't throw in the volume of indicators that you're going to use, right? Yeah. But the gist of it is, though, neither one of us took action.
Right.
That's the takeaway, right? There's nothing wrong with staring at the market all day, right? Yep. If that, and getting all of this knowledge and getting this data and looking at all these ratios and indicators and patterns and trends, that's what we should be doing, right? How much of that you want to do, right, is dependent on whether you want to do that and how much you want to let somebody else do. But the takeaway is, don't take an action just because you think it's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
Enough said?
Enough said. Okay. Next one. Sitting at 80% S, 20% C. Should I be doing an IFT tomorrow or let it ride? Any information is greatly appreciated. So, the only reason I'm putting this up is because of any information is greatly appreciated. Do not ask questions on the internet where any information is greatly appreciated.
You just left yourself open.
What are you going to do with information that somebody gives you? Like, there's 34 comments as of when I screenshotted this.
Right.
And I bet there's 34 different comments.
Yeah.
Like,
and some of them may very well be valid. Some of them may very well be true.
Yeah.
That's just not to say, folks, that any comments you throw on there, you're
Oh, no.
No. You could very well be right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The takeaway I think here is that, like, and we see it all the time. It's just like, it's kind of that open-ended question. It's like, hey, this is where I'm at. What should I do? And you're like, well, I don't know, bro. What's going on in the rest of your life?
Right.
Like, what's your personal risk tolerance right now?
Right.
Where have you been where have you been in the TSP for the last 5 years? Like, what's your account? Like, there's a million questions, not a million. There's probably 20 questions that you need to ask further before you answer that question. And anybody that answers that question without asking those other 20,
you should be
red lights.
Yeah, red lights.
Because they're guessing.
Yeah.
They're guessing your personal circumstances. They're guessing your personal risk tolerance.
Yeah.
They have no idea. And it's not to ding the person that wrote that.
Right. No, absolutely not.
You know.
That's what most people would write. Hey, I'm new to the game.
What should I do?
Any information is greatly appreciated.
Yeah. And it's true. Like, any information, as long as the person that wrote the comment realizes you got to take all that information with a grain of salt.
Right. And honestly, the person who comments onto this post, it's not their responsibility to worry about you who posted it. They're answering your post. Yeah. How you take it is on you.
And they may genuinely be trying to help.
I'm sure they're all genuinely trying to help.
Every once in a while, they're not trying to help. They're trying to stir the pot.
There are the pot stirrers. That is true.
But no, I think it's we see this question a lot, right? And not only like on Facebook, like we get this in emails all the time. And unfortunately, and we're kind of getting, this is a segue to the next topic where we talk about, is that next, the support thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had to kind of like, draw a line in the sand between when someone asks us questions about, the site or an account management or, something administrative that we can fix and help them with or whatever's going on versus I need help planning my finances.
Right.
Right. We have decided early on that this service that we do can't do that. We can't provide that one-to-one financial planning because we wouldn't be able to reach as many people. That's the whole point. Our concept is let's help educate you, the member, to manage your portfolio in the TSP and use our information to validate it.
Yeah, it has to be that way because we can't manage your fund for you.
Yeah, I mean, even if we wanted
to, we couldn't.
Yeah. We can't manage it. So we thought, okay, if you can't manage it, like if you give your money over to a financial planner and they put it in a different portfolio or whatever, they can manage it for you.
Yes.
The TSP, you can't do that.
Right. I mean, I have heard of anecdotal people that have given their username and I mean, I wouldn't give my username and password to a financial planner.
Yeah, and not only is that probably not a great idea. It's against the rules, but hey, if you want to break the rules, whatever. The person that's
we're
really
not rules guys.
No,
so.
we're not rules. We're data people. We're not rules people. Yeah. But the financial planner is really putting themselves out on a limb because it is illegal for them. Not as much for you, but for them. What I would ask is, and we can go down a rabbit hole with this, but never use a financial planner that doesn't have a fiduciary responsibility. Okay? Right. We can leave it at that.
Right.
Google it. If you're using a financial planner that doesn't have a fiduciary responsibility to you, meaning they have to act in your best, you're in a sketchy situation. So let's leave it at that. You can Google it and it'll tell you all about it. But the takeaway here is, right, so that the way we developed this service was we're actually putting ourselves in to kind of have a fiduciary responsibility without having to have it, right? Meaning we're acting in your best interest because the moves we're making are
our moves,
right? Which
with
means
our money.
Yeah, we're not gonna do bad moves with our money.
So just like as a quick fiduciary rule summary, right? The SEC relatively recently came out with a bunch of rules about this, and financial planners are no longer allowed to recommend stocks or any financial product that would benefit the planner's company at the expense of the customer. Okay, so the fiduciary rule is that the financial planner has to, by law, focus on what would be best for the client and not best for the company, for the financial planner's company. For us, it's not a thing because we don't get a kickback from the TSP, right? Right, from the product, yeah.
From the products we sell, yeah, exactly.
Right, so because we don't sell products.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't sell C fund and S fund.
Right, we don't, right. So what we're basically doing is what in the financial industry is called a fee-only financial planner. So if I was, me personally, when I retire, which is imminent, no, I don't want to drop the bomb on that, but it is imminent, imminently imminent.
We're in the days.
We're in days, yeah. And if you're a Naval Academy guy, we are like 90 days, not 90 plus 1, 90 plus 2, 90, we're like 90, exactly 90 days.
Yeah.
There won't be probably anybody
I don't know if you guys
gets
used to say this in the Navy, but in the Army, we used to say, I'm so short I could sit on a dime and swing my legs.
Yeah, I'm pretty short. Yeah. So fee-only financial planner. If I'm going to a financial planner, it's going to be someone who looks at all my circumstances, looks at all my assets, where I want to be going forward, and has a recommendation about what to do. And I pay them a fee for that plan. Going forward, they might execute some of those things for me, and that might cost me extra. But for the plan, I pay them to develop the plan. And the stocks and things that I buy as part of that plan, the planner doesn't get a kickback for it.
Right.
That's the whole point of the thing.
And the reason you might do that is because that planner that you're working with might have access to investment products that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. Yep. Right? So if you want to work with a person who has access to certain investment products, you would want them to help you put that plan together, right? Yeah. And then that doesn't mean they have to execute it for you.
Nope.
You can execute your own plan. Yep. You're going to save a lot in fees, and you're going to be in control. That's really what we're coming down to. And so again, it goes back to, and this, I think it still confuses people sometimes when we tell them this, we are an educational service.
Yes, absolutely.
We're not a financial advisor service.
Nope.
It doesn't mean that we won't do financial advising in another service, right? But it's completely separate from this. Yep. This service that the thing you're watching right now, Grow My TSP, will always be an educational service because the TSP cannot be managed by anyone except you, the TSP account holder. That's right. And so it really isn't that difficult. We talk about it all the time. If you get just educated enough to take a look at the CS and INF, right, for just a couple minutes a day, right? Go look at the charts, build your charts, take a look, and then use someone like us or someone else to validate. Yeah. Right? Because it's always nice to know, like it's when you do a math equation in class and you think you got it right, but you want the professor or the teacher to say, hey, did I get this right? Yeah, okay, I thought I did. Yeah. Right? That's it. Like have some sort of backstop, some validator, but have your plan and execute your plan. Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about it every show, and it's absolutely true. It's like riding a bike. I mean, you have 3 stock funds, 1 bond fund, and a money market. And all you have to do is draw the lines for those 3 funds. And honestly, in my mind, it's either you're in the stock funds or you're not in the stock funds. So it's really like binary. It's on off.
Yeah, we make it even simpler. And I say it's your methodology is like, let's just make it even simpler. And that makes it way easier to wrap your head around. Because when I first came into this, kind of game, I was thinking I had 5 choices to look at. I don't have 5 choices. I really kind of have 2.
Yes.
I'm in the stock funds or I'm out of the stock funds.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, for me, that makes it simple enough that I can wrap my head around that and go, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So our logo just went out behind me and I don't have the...
You can't fix it?
I don't have the remote control. So you're going to look at...
Is that the remote?
It's over there. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay. They get to look at... what are those called? Fireworks.
Fireworks.
They can look at fireworks.
Right, we're almost done.
We're at the end. If anybody's still watching, I'm surprised anyway.
All right. Well, you're up because we're on the welcome to the support center.
All right. So if you are a member of our website, a subscriber to our website, one of the things that's been very difficult for us is to provide good support. Because at the end of the day, really what you were doing was sending an email to us, which just goes into a flurry of emails that you can imagine that we get because we've got, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people emailing us.
And we're not Amazon. Like we don't have a giant
there's
backend.
Not 50 people answering it. You're looking at the 50 people.
Looking at them. Yeah.
And that's okay. We built this to be as lean as possible so that we don't have to charge outrageous rates. That's really why. So anyway, we do our best to kind of automate things. Getting to the support center, creating this has allowed us to be able to manage support requests way better. And even better than that, you're not really going to see that as a member. What you're going to see is this website that I just threw up there. It's going to have, ways for you to solve your own problem, right? Which as we've kind of, gone farther and farther in this, we've realized that people, most of the time, I'm the same way. Like, I don't really want to call a customer service agent.
Right.
Just tell me how to fix it, right? So we're building in that. It's pretty lean right now. Some of the key things that you need to be able to do are in there. But the takeaway is the behind the scenes part is way more important. Whereas as we grow, pun intended, we're going to bring on customer service agents that will be able to focus on your requests. The ones that are kind of difficult to, right, so you couldn't solve it yourself, you really need us. So, something glitched, you couldn't figure something out, whatever. So we'll be able to bring in those. We couldn't do that with an email box. So, we basically, bought into this service to kind of do all of that in the back end. So that stuff you guys won't really see, but what I hope you will see over the coming months is, and it's happened where you've sent in an email, you've sent in a comment box, or you've made a comment on Facebook or something, and it never kind of reached us.
Right.
And it was, a week or two before we saw it, and then we tried to act on it, and it was a little too late. Yeah. And so we're trying to fix that. And, it's
hard for people too, because most of the time when you make a comment, I need the information right now because I'm trying to make a reallocation decision.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, from the member perspective, I'm asking the question, why can't you answer me right now?
Yeah.
It's not that simple.
No. It's really not.
It's not. It's a lot of stuff to work through.
We're making it better. We're going to add a lot of things as we kind of build this out. It's like everything else, right? You want to just kind of build it in little pieces. So I know that people are going to ask us, hey, why can't we have this feature? Why can't we have that feature? It's coming. There'll hopefully be a day in the next few months, sometime this year, definitely, where there's like a little chat box on our website. Yeah. And, like when you go to other websites and you're like, hey, I got a question. And there'll be somebody there to answer it. At this point, no. But there will be somebody that can answer you within 24 hours. But, hopefully we can get a little more real time. The thing is most of the questions about account management or self-serve, fixing something with your password or whatever, that's the kind of stuff that you can fix quickly if we give you the tools to do it. And then what we see kind of happening is this kind of this question more about financial planning.
Yes.
And so just as a kind of warning, if you hit the support staff, the support portal, and as we're adding people to kind of work that, they're not going to be able to answer those questions any more than I or Jerry can answer that question because we don't have enough information. So you're going to get pointed towards more of the coaching thing, which isn't a service that we ever really thought we would do. We didn't design this service so that we could do personal coaching.
No.
Right. So if you want to do a coaching call with Jerry, it's A, his time is valuable. B, it's going to take a lot of work. Yeah. And so we have to go that route.
Right. So it comes down to basically two kind of general question funnels, right? There's the administrative, I need a new password, I forgot my username, like those kinds of administrative things.
I got to change my credit card. Whatever.
Right. All that kind of stuff. And then there's, I'm this many years old, this many years into my, government service. I have all these circumstances. What should I do? So those are two clearly different things that we're trying to address.
Right.
And we're going to do a FAQ, page on the site, and it'll basically direct you ultimately to, it'll put you through some posts that we're going to do, that we have done, about how to think through those things, and then we're gonna do some coaching and some some one-on-one stuff, and we're going to have every kind of opportunity basically for people to get a warm and fuzzy about where they are and where they want to go. And I think it might take us a little bit of work, but we're going to get everybody's concerns.
Yeah, we're definitely going to address them.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to address them, and it's just going to take a little time. This is a big year for kind of building these pieces. Yeah. It's taken us a while to build the service that we're providing, and having the website operate properly and all those things. And it is what it is. It's a small business, and
thanks for supporting
it. Yeah, well,
right?
Definitely without you guys, we wouldn't be doing it. But we would be doing it whether we were getting paid or not, which is the honest truth. Yeah. We just started working with a military podcast that we're going to advertise on, mostly because, we're both veterans. I mean, I was in active duty for, I forget how many years, somewhere between 7 and 10, depending on how many count deployments or whatever. You came out of the Naval Academy, went active duty, and then came in the federal service. Yep. I stayed in the reserves and blah, blah, blah. The point is, we know so many people, our kids are in the military, right? Mm-hmm. That they get no guidance. Yeah. No guidance. And if we could get to those young soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, I always forget those guys.
Don't forget those guys.
That is huge, right? That's really why we're doing this. I mean, those folks are making, I don't even know what they're making nowadays, but I was making peanuts.
They're making peanuts plus 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
not making a lot
making
more.
Money, but yeah.
But the but is, if they have this knowledge we're talking about, just taking 5%, because they get matching now, right? Yep. We didn't used to have that. Yep. They get matching now. So first 2 years is 3%, then it's 5%. Just put that only in, right? If they spend 5 years in, 10 years in, or 20 years in,
it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, and they don't know that, right? Yeah. And so anyway, we're going to work to educate them. Yeah. All right, I think we've rambled way more than we thought we were. You said, this show's going to be quick.
Yeah. We've rambled a bit.
You start letting me talk.
All right.
That is it. We got questions? All right, if you got questions, please put them in the comment box. Yep. This comes out on Facebook, and it's on YouTube. If you have questions, put them on there.
We haven't done Twitter in a bit. We need to figure that out. Twitter.
I don't tweet, so I don't know, man. You're going to have to be the lead on that.
We're going to come back to Twitter.
I don't even know how to Twitter. All right. If you have any input on this show, please give it to us. We do read them. We don't always get a chance to respond, but we definitely read it. Yep. I hope you guys have a great week coming up, and if you enjoyed the show.
We're good. Peace.
We're out. And cue music.
Cheers.
Bow, bow, bow.